Session 2. Welcome to Study Session 2. Survey of Human Origins and Cultural Achievements. Introduction. In this study session, you will be able to learn about human origin and cultural achievements. This unit portrays human history from the viewpoint of evolutionary theory. Here, you will be informed about the evolutionary history of primates, elements of change in human evolution, and transition to civilization, among others. You may want to ask, what then are the changes in human evolutionary process? What factors influence human evolution? What is cultural behavior and achievements? Learning outcomes for Study Session 2. At the end of this session, you should be able to 1. Discuss the changes in human evolutionary process. 2. Explain various factors that influenced human evolution. 3. Explain behavior and achievements. Evolutionary history of the primate. The evolutionary history of the primates can be traced back to 65 million years or more, as one of the oldest of all surviving placental mammal groups. The oldest known primates like mammal species is the Placiadapis, which come from North America, but they were widespread in Europe, Asia, and Africa during the tropical conditions of the Paleocene and Eocene. Notactus existed since the beginning of modern climate, marked by the formation of the first Antarctic ice in the early Oligocene around 30 million years ago. Fossil evidence found in Germany in the 1980s was determined to be about 6.5 million years old, some 1.5 million years older than similar species from East Africa. This challenged the origin theory about human ancestry originating on the African continent. African apes and humans, including Dryopithecus, migrated south from East or Western Asia into Africa. The surviving tropical population, seen most completely in the upper Eocene and lowermost Oligocene fossil beds on the Fayum Depression southwest of Cairo, gave rise to all the living primates, which are 1. Lemurs of Madagascar, 2. Lorises of Southeast Asia, 3. Galagos or bush babies of Africa, 4. Anthropods, Platyanis or New World monkeys, 5. Catarrhinises or Old World monkeys, and 6. The great apes and then humans. In the class of primates still are Camoyapithecus, oldest catarrhine from uppermost Oligocene at Eraglade in the northern Kenya Rift Valley. Dated to 24 million years ago, its ancestry is believed to be species related to Angyptopithecus, Propleopithecus, and Parapithecus from the Fayum at around 35 million years ago. Sardanius. Sardanius described as a close relative of the last common ancestor of the crown catarrhines, tentatively dated to 28 to 29 million years ago, filling an 11 million years gap in the fossil record. In the early Miocene, about 22 million years ago, the many kinds of arboreally adapted primitive catarrhines from the East Africa suggest a long history of biodiversification. Fossils at 20 million years ago include fragments attributed to Victoriapithecus, the earliest Old World monkey. Among those generally believed to be in the age lineage leading up to 13 million years ago are Proconsul, Ranguapithecus, Dendropithecus, Limnopithecus, Nacolapithecus, Equotarius, Neanzampithecus, Afropithecus, Heliopithecus, and Kenyapithecus, all from East Africa. The presence of other generalized non-Sarcopitheci of Middle Miocene age, Otavipithecus from cave deposit in Namibia, Perolapithecus and Dryopithecus from France, Spain, and Austria. Evidence of a wide diversity of forms across Africa and Mediterranean basin during the relatively warm and equable climatic regimes of the early and middle Miocene. Oreapithecus, the youngest of the Miocene hominoids, from 9 million year old coal beds in Italy. Anatomically, modern humans evolved from the archaic Homo sapiens in Africa in the Middle Paleolithic, about 200,000 years ago. By the beginning of Upper Paleolithic 50,000 BP, full behavioral modernity, including language, music, and other cultural universals, had developed. The out of Africa migration is estimated to have occurred about 70,000 years BP. Modern humans subsequently spread to all continents, replacing earlier hominids. They inhabit Eurasia and Oceania by 4000 BP. A popular theory is that they displaced Homo neanderthalensis and other species descended from Homo erectus, which had inhabited Austria as early as 2 million years ago through more successful reproduction and competition for resources. The exact manner or extent of the coexistence and interaction of these species are unknown and remain a controversial subject. Archaeogenetics strongly supports the out of Africa scenario since the 1990s and rejects the multi-regional hypothesis. Geneticists Leon Judd and Henry Appandin, variation in human DNA is minute compared to that of other species. During the late Pleistocene, the human population was reduced to a small number of breeding pairs, no more than 10,000 and possibly as few as 1,000, resulting in a very small residual gene pool. Factors that influenced human evolution. Human evolution is characterized by morphological, developmental, physiological, and behavioral changes. In morphological changes, it involves the evolution of a bipedal locomotor adaptation from an arboreal or semi-arboreal one, with all adaptation characterized with a valgus knee, low intermembral index, that is, long legs relative to the arms, and reduced upper body strength. Other factors in morphological change include 1. Evolution of a power and precision grip. 2. A reduced masticatory system. 3. A reduction of the canine tooth and the descent of the larynx and hyoid bone, making speech possible. Physiological and behavioral change involved in the evolution of hidden oestrus or concealed ovulation coincided with the evolution of important behavioral changes. A significant behavioral change was the development of material culture. However, the relationships between all these changes are still a subject of debate. The next stage is the transition to civilization. In transition to civilization, most humans lived as hunter-gatherers until 10,000 years ago. They generally lived in a small nomadic groups known as band societies. The advent of agriculture prompted the Neolithic Revolution, when access to food surplus led to the formation of permanent human settlements, the domestication of animals, and the use of metal tools. Agriculture encouraged trade and cooperation and led to complex society. It is the peak of the Holocene calendar human era due to its importance of the date for human society. Meaning of behavior and achievements. Human behavior consistently changed. New ideas were acquired as they learned new things and moved from one stage of discovery to another. The late Middle Ages saw the rise of revolutionary ideas and technologies. For example, in China, an advanced and urbanized society promoted innovations and sciences, such as printing and seed drilling. In India, major advancements were made in mathematics, philosophy, religion, and mythology. The Islamic Golden Age saw major scientific advancements in Muslim empires. In Europe, the rediscovery of classical learning and inventions such as the printing press led to the Renaissance in the 14th and 15th century. All these achievements involved and informed human behavior. After the Renaissance was the next 500 years of exploration and colonialism, which brought great parts of the world under European control, leading the later struggles for independence. More so, as humans continued to express themselves and find meaning, there came the scientific revolution in the 17th century and the Industrial Revolution in the 18th to 19th centuries. This promoted major innovations and informed human behavior and achievement in transport, railway and automobile, energy development, coal and electricity, government, representative democracy, and communism. The world has suddenly become a global village through information age. At the end of 20th century, modern humans live in a world that has become increasingly globalized and interconnected. In 2010 alone, not accounting for current day data, about 2 billion humans were able to communicate with each other via the internet and other 3.3 billion by mobile phone subscriptions. Places that were distant before were now close through information technology. Summary of Study Session 2. In Study Session 2, you have learned that 1. The evolutionary history of the primates can be traced back to 65 million years or more as one of the oldest of all surviving placental mammal group. 2. Human evolution is characterized by morphological, developmental, physiological, and behavioral changes. 3. Most humans lived as hunter-gatherers until 10,000 years ago. They generally lived in a small nomadic groups known as band societies, and that the advent of agriculture prompted the Neolithic Revolution, when access to food surplus led to the formation of permanent human settlements, the domestication of animals, and the use of metal tools. 4. The scientific revolution in the 17th century and the Industrial Revolution in the 18th to 19th centuries promoted major innovations and informed human behavior and achievement in transportation, energy development, and government. We have now come to the end of Study Session 2. Thanks for listening.